That's the whole game.
So the underlying issue here is that individuals know very well that the donated responsibility given to them by Kenyans and the promises given to Kenyans, they have not delivered.
Yeah.
That it is so clear, it is so obvious that there is no delivery, promises have not been kept, that the only other way for us to get back is not through agenda, because there is no agenda. All you have to do is to scatter everybody and in one way or the other end up to the target that you want to be.
Yeah, and you can see it has started. We are told now we need to get into a conversation. Conversation around 2060 and so on. We came from a very orderly system where things were working, where delivery could be measured, not by the government, by the citizen herself or himself. We started off with something called economic recovery strategy for wealth and employment creation. And they gave birth to Vision 2030. And Vision 2030 was created in a manner that no government will be elected and come up with its own way of governing this country. It has to follow a track. And that's where we had implementation term 1, implementation term 2, 3, and Ruto is now supposed to be implementing term 4. So that we have 3-year window between 2027 and 2030 to craft now Vision 2063. That will take us to 100 years since we were born. It's not 2060. If it was an examination in my university, they would fail. They would get zero, because you cannot justify why 2060. What happened in 2060 in our case? Kenyatta was still in Kapenguria, in Rodwa, hewing stones, and so on. The Mau Maus were still in the forest. So what are we celebrating in 2060? For crying around. Why do you want us to remember 2060? What is important for us? The important thing is 2063. That's when we said Uhuru is here. Freedom has come. Now, we started derailing ourselves, getting to where you have described eloquently, that we started now looking at what are we going to achieve. And that was the problem with the Jubilee one. 2013 to 2017, and why we ended up in the violence of 2017 is because we do not want to be seen to be continuing with the Kibaki system. We wanted to craft our own achievements, a medium of achievements, and we came with the Jubilee manifesto and all these 299 things that we cannot do in 5 years. So we basically derailed Vision 2030 deliberately. Then we came to the second term, and instead of getting back, we just hewed 3 things, like transforming the country into an NGO, implementing 4 pillars of whatever great this, great that, instead of sticking to what exactly we needed to add. Then finally, towards the end of that, somebody came up with not the end, but the means. We don't want to walk with our legs. We want to walk with our heads. Bottom up. You do know that all good things come from above. The rain, the glory of God, sunshine, you all come from above. What comes from below? Even the roots. So in short, we now focus on this, and that became the Hasra Nation. And the Hasra Nation has taken us where? Our economy is on the ropes.
Okay.
We are in our knees. So now, in order to correct that particular situation, you do know that because of that cumulative failure, because the failure of the Ruto system is not what we are seeing. It started with Jubilee 1, then Jubilee 2, and now UDA 1. What Kenyans are saying, we don't want UDA 2, because we are not seeing any glimmer of hope at the end of it. They don't hate an individual. They don't hate a person. They are not against any individual, any Kenyan. They are against what they are experiencing. People who used to feed themselves can't feed themselves, used to take their children to school with comfort. We are now borrowing even money for food. That's where we are. Graduates we know graduates to have been unemployed, but we have never seen PhDs staying at home without jobs.
Without jobs.
Yeah, that one we have never seen.
I want to look at that. We want to look at, one of the weapons of politics, and that is to then be able to weaponize things like poverty or to weaponize, idleness. Yep. Let's take a break and we'll come back and look at that. And I want to share a story, and then perhaps we can look at what is really underfoot and what is really happening here. And that it might surprise people that the goons who showed up in Homa Bay, the goons who show up in Kisumu, the goons who show up in Nairobi probably couldn't care less about the political position, but they're for hire.
Yeah.
So let's come and talk about that a little bit.